Oh, dear Jesus. Bear with me. Y'all know how this is. I'm trying to figure out. I forget what to do every time. Let's see. Um, I wished I was smart. That's very judgmental, isn't it? Oh, there we go. Okay. I think I did it. I can't remember how to get both of them on here every time. So difficult. Okay, let's see. Y'all are on YouTube. Good morning, Sharon, Diane. I don't know RL. I mean, I know who you are, but I don't know your first name. Autumn. Good morning. Good morning, Rhonda, Kayla, Carol. I'm gonna make sure that Facebook joins. They haven't joined yet, so give me just a minute. Heaven Bound Homestead. That sounds like a cool farm name. My watch is stuck. Really? Like everything's backwards. Okay, I haven't seen anybody join from Facebook yet, so hang on just a minute. Good morning, Jane. Jane, that was the first time I've seen a picture of you, and oh my gosh, we could so be sisters. Like we could so be sisters, like for sure. Why is my watch stuck? You know, I've said this before, but like, um, technology just blows my mind. Like I'm like what happens is I come in here and log in like under my Safari and then it tells me that okay, I see some people from Facebook now. Oh, Jane, you're from Facebook. Um it'll tell me that like I can't log in to do a live video cuz I'm not on Google Chrome, and then I try to go download Google Chrome, and then I have to figure out where the heck it is. It's just a nightmare. Like I feel like I wish there was like you could go to college for just like learning how to do social media and like all this like ins and outs. Like I wish there was a class for it because I so would take it. Um I would so take the class in 2 seconds to learn how to do everything because I have to depend on my farm friends to go, help, how do you do this? How do you do that? And it's just like it can be difficult. Um let me get my stuff out. I said this last week, but I wish that I had an office. Like I wish I had this studio for like live videos because y'all know that I don't see well, and it is so hard to read these comments with the bright light, and I really wish that I could like maybe once I get my education center up and going, maybe I can build a little office in there. You know, I don't know. Maybe one day. You know, you can't just have everything overnight, right? It's a process. And I forgot my Coke Zero, and I'm feeling like it's going to be a bad. Like I feel like if I don't go get this Coke Zero, that this live might be a train wreck. So I'm gonna get y'all to stay right there for 2 seconds and let me go. I'm gonna sprint, go get my drink, and I'll come right back. feel much better now. I feel like I can continue this performance, this live video. All right, let's see. Where do I want to start? Let's talk about last night as I start getting ready. I'll read your comments. I haven't quite figured out how to get to all the comments once the live is gone. I can see comments once people watch the live and they watch it later. But I haven't had a chance to phone a friend, to find out how to do that. So I'm going to try to go at the end and kind of read some comments and stuff. Okay, so I don't know, 6 months ago, maybe longer, the extension office here in Coleman, which is an extension office of Auburn, and they do agriculture in our area. If you don't know what the extension office is, there's usually one in every, city or whatever. But they obviously partner with the Agriplex here in Coleman, and they came and met me, I'm gonna say year and a half ago, because they offer field trips as well, and they didn't want to, we didn't want to step on each other's toes, so they wanted to come see what I offer because they didn't want to offer the same type things because they're supportive and they didn't want to see me fail or whatever. So I met them and they came to my farm and they gave me some recommendations on safety with my animals. And they were kind of presenting some possible concerns, kids get in my creek and then my animals are at the top of the hill. And when it rains and so forth, the feces could come down into my creek and it could, be, so they presented stuff like that to me, about safety, which was really good because those are not things that I considered. And I had to call the water department, get them to come out here, test the water. Anyway, just a lot of that. So it was more of a safety as well, of what my farm is and all that stuff. And so they asked me to come to this agritourism. That's such a hard word to say to me. They asked me to come and be on a panel and answer questions and so forth of people that are just starting out or thinking about starting, a farm where they have the public own their property and so forth. Isn't that cute? Anyway, so well, the first part of the meeting was about creating a farm and talking about insurance and the importance of having a farm and having the public and what you need and what things to consider and how to do a budget and how to know whether you're upside down and all that stuff. And I learned a lot. I did. I was so glad that I went because it was very educational. And there were 2 other farms on the panel that have been in business a lot longer than me. I think one of them is been in business, I think she said 15 years. And then the other one had been in business for even longer than that. She was not a petting zoo. She is one of those, you go pick blueberries or strawberries, a farm like that. And so she allows the public to come to her farm to pick. And she does schools and stuff like that. They come and pick. But anyway, so it was nice to meet them and be able to put a name with the face because I haven't had a chance to go meet them yet. So that was fun. And there was I don't know how many people were there, but there were people there that, wanted to do what we were doing. And I wasn't sure like what to expect. I was thinking, I mean, obviously people want to do, farm tours because they're looking to supplement their income, or they're looking to, the mom wants to stay home with their children and stuff like that. And I thought in my head, like, if they're wanting to know how to do that from me, oh my gosh, like this is going to be a dead end. I worried about it because I didn't know what answers to tell them to be successful, like financially, because I haven't quite figured that out. And so I felt a little pressure. And listen, I am never, ever, ever nervous to speak in public. Like, that is like, I actually enjoy it. I was one of those kids in college when you had to do speech class and everyone was a nervous wreck to get up and I was begging to go first. Like, like I've never been nervous. Yesterday, I felt like I was sitting in that room with all these people that I did not know, and I felt so nervous. And I don't know what, like, I felt like, people were looking at us for answers and stuff. And I felt very nervous. But then once I got up there and started speaking and stuff, it just kind of like came natural to me. But I do want to tell you that if you follow me and you're a farm and you like, um, have questions yesterday, or if you have questions about, things that I have done and steps I have taken to bring the public to my farm, I, I'm all about answering like questions and stuff. Yesterday, I had a farm call me, and she was from not around here. She's from, I think she said, the Dadeville area, which is nowhere near me. And she's wanting to start a petting zoo. And she was talking about it. And so the first thing I said to her was, I said, okay, well, the first thing you have to do is have insurance. And the second thing you have to have is a bathroom. So I said, okay, those two things cost you about $300 a month. So before you even got an animal, or before you even fed an animal, you have to have 30 people, 30 people come tour your farm to be able to break even with your insurance and porta potty. And she was like, oh. And I said, okay, I don't know about how many animals you have, but my feed bills are roughly $1,000 a month. So that's $1,300 a month just to break even. That's no vet bills or anything. I said, so that's 130 people have to come tour my farm just to break even. So that is, if you're just open on the weekends, you got to have at least 35 people come in a weekend to break even. And she was like, that sounds awful. I said, it is. I said, it is. You have to absolutely love what you do. You have to do it because you just love it. And I said, if I depended on tours alone, I would be bankrupt. Because, like, once you throw vet bills and, like, waters and troughs and all medicine and all that stuff into the equation, if you only do tours, it is a dead end. So if you're wanting to do what I do, just know that there's no way. I can't say there's no way. Let me just tell you, I don't have the answers to tell you how to be profitable having a petting zoo. And as a matter of fact, in the meeting yesterday, he actually talked about that there's really no profit in a petting zoo. It is a lot of work, and if you're looking to supplement your income, you're in trouble, because actually what's going to happen is you're going to be in more debt because you have animals. So because I don't want to be upside down. That's why y'all sit there and all that. You're like, Judy, you're going to have to slow down. You're going to have to do this, whatever. You have to understand that I have to be all over the place to make this work. Like, I have to do fundraisers. I have to, like me building my education center. Well, where's that money coming from? Because it show ain't coming from tours, because I got to break even with tours. I have to try hire a grant writer, which costs money. I have to do, like I said, do fundraising. My fundraisers are like, I might hold a special event at my farm. You see me doing birthday parties. That's fundraisers for me to be able to get an education center. Like, I bust my butt. And the whole thing is, like, this whole education center, this has been in the works for at least a year or more. Like, I can't just go, oh, I think I'll have an education center. I'm making all this money on the side and I'll put all this money towards an education center. It don't work that way. It don't work that way. And the whole thing with like social media and stuff is it's been a supplement so that I can do the things that I want to do. But it ain't like I'm over here getting rich, if people, somebody, this lady, when I first started doing what I'm doing, because at first I was selling chickens. And when I became a nonprofit and started doing tours, chicken people started getting mad at me. It was all, y'all, I got so beat up. I mean, people that I thought were good friends of mine just like flipped their lid when I became nonprofit and started opening my farm for tours. It was like I started getting Judy haters, and I couldn't figure out what the heck was going on. I was like, why are these people mad at me? Like, what the heck? They could do the same thing. It's not like, but what I realized is people have assumptions. And this is what I want to talk about today is assumptions. And people 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 look at you and they assume your marriage is like this, or they assume your kids are like this, or they assume how much money you have, or they assume by what you have. Like, they might come up to your house, or you might drive a daggum nice car and they're like, oh, she got money. And like, what people assume that, but what happens is you might have that nice car and be living paycheck to paycheck because you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, right? Like, they don't know, but people take assumptions of what they think of you, or they think about the way you live. And I'm going to tell you, social media is the worst. Because I'm going to tell you this, the holidays are coming up, okay? And I do a lot of preaching. I do a lot of preaching during the holidays. And it's because I struggle myself with holidays. And when you have social media, you start seeing families celebrate Christmas holidays or Thanksgiving, and you start making assumptions, and you start going, oh, I wish my family was like that. I wish we played dirty Santa and could all laugh instead of we're all fighting like cats and dogs over here because me and my brothers can't get together. I'm not talking about my own family, but me and my brothers can't get together because we don't get along, and mom and dad are not here anymore. And wished I had a family, because you make assumptions about what you see on social media. It's just like seeing pictures. We're going to have to break out the protein. Cheers. You got your protein? We see pictures of people. And y'all know this. I don't even have to tell you this, but you know how pictures are have filters and stuff like that. So, like, I mean, you can even take a picture and make yourself look skinnier. Like you can make your teeth whiter. You can take the wrinkles out of your face and like start making assumptions. Like you see somebody, let's just say from high school, and you're like, oh my gosh, she does not have one wrinkle on her face. She does not age a bit. I sure wish I looked like her. Or, gosh, I cannot believe she's 58 years old and rocking that bikini like there's nobody's business, like, and you like go, look at me, I'm a daggum train wreck because, I've let myself go. And Susie Q over here that I graduated looks like she just walked out of the Sports Illustrated magazine. We compare ourselves to people. We make assumptions because of sometimes things are not even real, and we beat ourselves up. And I'm going to tell you what happened. I'm just going to be honest. Yesterday, I was watching this farm go live. I thought I heard somebody pulling my driveway. I about had a heart attack. I was watching this farm and they were doing a live just like me. And I was watching them and, I'm their cheerleader. I was like, oh my gosh, they're so cute, whatever. And then they started talking about things like sponsorship and stuff like that, like other places sponsoring. And I heard them say that they were getting sponsored. Don't they know I'm live? They were getting sponsored by somebody that I was trying so hard to get sponsored by. And I felt, this is what I did. This is exactly what I did. So I hope that you can relate to me maybe in a different situation. But I went from feeling cheery and great to watching that live going, I'll never get sponsored by them. I've worked my butt off. I've worked my daggone butt off. And I will never get sponsored because they're bigger than me. And I might as well just give up and forget it. And I felt so defeated. And then I stopped myself for a minute and I was like, Judy, I got the preaching stick and I went, Joker, you are ridiculous. That is just ridiculous. But see, what was happening is I made assumptions that I would never get sponsored by them. I made and that's not like my nature, but it's almost like sometimes how we make assumptions because jealousy takes over, and that's not good. And that's not good. Like when you are on social media and you see like your friend or whatever, thriving, let's just say, and jealousy takes over. Like, how I talk about emotional maturity, and having emotional maturity is being able to stop yourself, because our human nature, like that, being jealous of someone is our human nature. Like we wouldn't be human if like, we saw someone being successful and we're over here on the struggle bus. It's normal to feel jealousy, but it's not normal to keep carrying it on and letting it consume you. That is not normal. It's like emotional maturity is when you can stop yourself when you're scrolling through Facebook and it's Valentine's Day and this friend of yours, he, had this wonderful proposal. Her boyfriend had this immaculate proposal, and then your boyfriend didn't even propose. Y'all ran to the courthouse and got married, and you've regretted it ever since. And then you find yourself jealous because Susie Q over here got this proper proposal, like, and you didn't get that. Emotional maturity is when you're able to stop yourself in the middle of that jealousy and go, wait a minute. No one's life is perfect. Okay. Where she might have got the proper proposal. You were able to stop yourself in the middle of that crap that goes on in your brain that tells you that you wished you had this, and if my husband was like this, or if my wife looked like that, whatever, like those things, that's emotional maturity, and you're able to stop yourself in the middle of it and correct it. That's hard to do. It is hard to correct your brain when you're in the middle of, like, making assumptions on social media of what someone's life is like. Like I said, you make the assumption because someone nice drives a nice car, you're making the assumptions that they make a lot of money, when in return they might be broke as a joke, and you have 10 times more money than them. It's just that you're more conservative than them. Like, don't do that to yourself. But I want to tell you, the holidays are coming up, okay? And I'm going to share with you this story. If you've been following me for a while, you've heard this story. So just bear with me as I have new followers. I get in left field at Christmas, and it's really it starts at Thanksgiving, but I want to tell you why. Okay, I was married before Shane, and I was married for 15 years. And my kids were, my kids were 2 and 3 years old when I got married to him. So they were young. And they actually called their stepfather, they called him Dad. And every Christmas, when you're a blended family, what happens? You have to split the holidays, and your kids go to their dads for X amount of time, and then they come to you for X amount of time. And it's awful. It is awful for everyone involved. This didn't curl good. Anyway, well, my kids were young, and my husband did not, well, how do I put this? I don't really know how to put it. But basically, he did not want me to buy presents from Santa Claus. Like, I grew up, my mother was very giving, and like Christmas was very special in my house. Like, my mother went in debt. She was a single mother, and she went in debt to make sure we didn't just get like a Barbie doll. We got fur coats, diamond rings. My brothers got motorcycles every year. Like, my mother would go in total debt in order to make sure, because she parented us out of guilt, I think. So she would go way out of her way to make Christmas like this big ordeal. Well, my husband was not like that. I was able, I know this sounds like I got controlled like crazy. But I got like $50, maybe sometimes 100 or less. Usually it was $50 to spend on my kids. Okay, well, y'all know $50. I mean, would that give you a box of crayons and a coloring book? I mean, like, it's nothing. So what happened is, every single year, I would let my kids go to their dads to open Santa Claus, because their dad and their stepmother, oh, that's a train wreck. Their dad and their stepmother did Santa Claus. And I didn't have any presents to give my kids. And I would feel guilty because I grew up getting fur coats and diamond rings, and my stockings were like out of this world. Like, I grew up like that. And when he was just like, you get $50 per kid. And I thought, how the heck am I supposed to do that? So again, I would let my kids go to their dads every Christmas, because I didn't have any Santa Claus presents to give them. And my kids were like 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, we were together for 15 years. And to make a long story short, my kids, they're now 20, almost 25 and 26. Do you know that I have never had my kids wake up on Christmas morning at my house to open Santa Claus? Ever. So like I got totally robbed of my kids waking up excited that Santa Claus had come. So like I I live with the fact that I let someone do that to me and control me and rob me of my own kids, of never being able to see my kids open up Santa Claus. So like I get in left field because of that. And my mother made Christmas so special. I say special. She just, like I said, went overboard. Like to this day, I my stockings were my favorite gift from my mother because my hair is a train wreck today. My mother's stockings, I'm a girly girl, right? I'm a girly girl. Let's admit it. And my mother would put girly girl stuff in my stockings, and my stockings would be just stuffed with like nail polish and makeup and like candles and like just like jewelry and just like girly girl stuff. So every year, like my brothers would run to their presents and I would run straight to my stocking because I loved it. And so like I miss getting a stocking. Like, oh my gosh, I miss it. I miss it so much because it was so much fun. My mom she would buy the most perfect gifts for me. She knew me so well. I can't get this to curl, so it might just be a train wreck today. But anyway, so I get in left field at Christmas because I kind of keep thinking about it. Like every Christmas, I'm like, this, like, how you like envision, like, if you don't have, like, if your family has, like, maybe your grandparents or your parents have deceased and you had to find a new way to do the holidays and you keep like the holidays of what it was like as a kid in your brain because you're like, we used to go to my grandparents and my aunts and uncles used to come and we would swap presents, and like you remember what it was like as a child and how exciting Christmas was. And when you're an adult, all that changes because people pass away and then you try to find new family traditions and it's just not the same. You know, I don't care what you try to accomplish with your family, is just not this. You have several of them that do not cooperate, right? And you're like, can't we just do what mom used to do? Like, can't we just get together and just love each other and do what mom used to do? And it's, as you grow up, it's just never the same. And you're like, I wish I could just go back to the good old days. Just saying, like, just go back to the good old days. Because as you grow up, this world gets more toxic and more toxic and more toxic and more toxic, right? And so you're like, I just want to go back to my grandmother's and mama's plate. You know what I mean? So like, as the holidays approach, I start going, okay, Joker, Judy, okay, what you gonna do to take care of yourselves for the holidays? Because, I can't go back and get, doing Santa Claus with my kids because simply they're adults now. So like, but do I hold on to all that crap that, it didn't bother my kids. They have never said one word like, Mom, why did you never give us Santa Claus? They got and I got to the point where I didn't even buy them a gift, I literally gave them a card with $50 in it because I couldn't find anything for $50. And they knew they were going to get $50 from me and their stepdad. And it's kind of like, it was just, that's just how it was. And they've never said that their life was awful as a kid. You know what I mean? But, at the end of the day, you know how we say, Christmas is not about, so much giving. It's about the meaning behind Christmas. And I try to remind myself of that because, I am a believer. Protein. I am a believer. And I try to remind myself of that. But I just know that this is already August. So the holidays start basically in November. So you have a couple of months to figure out how to make a difference in this year, like how not to be in left field and how not to feel sad when you get on social media and you see all these families with Christmas parties and you're like, well, all my family's ticked off at me, or all my family's dead, or nobody wants to come to my house, or I'm too broke to buy presents, or whatever you go through. Okay, it is the time of year where we have to stop what we're doing and change that. We have to change. Now, we can't change such and such being mad and not being able to get together, but you can change your own mindset about it. So instead of getting stuck on when you start scrolling through social media and you see all these families getting together and you're like, I wish I'm sitting here by myself. Wished I had a family. Well, you ain't the only one sitting by yourself, sugar. Your Aunt Judy sits by herself too. Okay, so like I want you to know that you're not alone. And well, hey, you know what we could do if you're one of those people that are like that, we could go live and we can have Christmas here at Snead's Farm. Snead's Farmhouse. We can sit and have lunch. We can have a tomato sandwich. I don't eat tomatoes, but peanut butter and jelly sandwich. We can enjoy our Christmas. But I want you to start, if you're one of those people that get in left field about the holidays, I want you to start right this minute thinking of things to do to change your mindset and protect yourself protect yourself from yourself, because you're your biggest enemy, right? There's so many things, last year, Shane was here during Christmas, but Shane, you know how I told you that my mom was the gift giver? Shane is not a gift giver. Okay. Shane is not taking the time out of his day to figure out what to get me. He's like, what do you want? Here's a magazine, pick it out. That's Shane. Or, hey, what are we going to do for Christmas? I bought you that Jeep, Judy. I'm like, Joker, that was like 4 years ago. Well, it costs a lot of money. That's your Christmas present for the next 10 years, Judy. That's Shane. We laugh about it. But I am used to, like, everyone interprets love a different way. If you've ever read the book 5 Languages of Love, some people interpret love by a hug. Some people interpret love by saying I love you. Some people interpret love by getting a card in the mail or a gift. Like everyone interprets love in a different way, and you need to know your love language. You need to know how you accept love. Is it through one of those things? You need to know how, when someone truly does something for you, how do you receive the love? Is it through a conversation? Is it through hugging? Is it through they brought you a special gift in the mail or whatever? You need to figure out what your love language is, okay? Because we all experience it some way different. Mine is through, when someone when someone goes out of their way to think of a gift to give me, it makes me like, for example, this week, this week, I got this package in the mail and I was like, Shane was like, "What did you order this time?" You know? And I was like, "What did I order?" And I was trying to figure out what I had ordered and I didn't recognize the name of the company. And I was like, "What is this?" And then I began to open it and it was a chicken water that was a heater. And I was like, "I didn't order this." And then I got this email from this lady that said, "I watched your video about your automatic chicken doors and it being a game changer for you. And I wanted to give you another game changer, and that is a heater waterer for your chickens." And I was like, "Are you serious?" I mean, this thing's like $70. And I was like, this lady that has no clue who I am. And I didn't even recognize her name from like, messaging, like commenting. I didn't even recognize her name. She watched my video and sent me this. I felt so loved because I receive love by someone thinking of me and going, "This is a perfect gift for Judy." So when I don't receive that from someone, like Shane's like, "Love ya." Judy, I tell you, I love you all the time. Why do you not feel loved? I literally tell you every single day. It's because that's not my love language. My love language is not to hear "I love you." To me, like your spouse saying "I love you" is like routine. You say "I love you" every time you get off the phone. That's like routine. That's what it feels like to me. Okay. I don't go, "I just got off the phone with Shane and he told me he loved me and I feel so freaking loved." No, I do not do that. That's not my love language. I receive it through, you just made that for me, like Shane making something for me. I'm like he made me a ring. Okay, one time he literally, I'll show it to you. No, I'll have the bracelet. He made me he made me a ring and a bracelet and he welded it. This is the bracelet. He took stainless steel and fired it up and welded me a bracelet. He could have given me a $15,000 diamond ring, or he could have given me this, and this would have been more to me. He literally welded this and made it for me. Like, I didn't even know he was making it. And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" So, like, that, if he says, "Okay, well, I got to go. Love ya," I don't go, "Oh." But when he does this, I'm like, he freaking loves me. He just made me a freaking bracelet from welding. Like, that's how so you again need to know your love language in order to know how to, Lord, I'm just talking. What time is it? Okay. We got time. Um, you need to know your love language and you have to understand that whatever your love language is, if you're a man and I'm stepping on your toes, I'm sorry. But men don't get it, okay? Like if you're like depending on your man to go make you a bracelet or like bring you home roses and like not all men are like that, right? We have to know what their love language is because what ends up happening is almost like we're selfish because what happens is we think because like I can go buy Shane a gift, like I can really think about something and buy him a gift, and he's like, thank you. And I'm like, "That's it?" And he was like, "What did you want me to say?" I'm like, Are you kidding me? Like, I just went out of my way to buy you this gift. Like, I thought about it and everything, and all you say is thank you. He's like, Judy, what do you want me to do? I'm like, I want you to get so excited and do like a couple of back handsprings in the front yard and do like a herky because you're so excited that I bought you that. And he was like, so you want me to go out there and do back? I'm like, yes, like I want you, like, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go, oh my God, Judy, thank you. And he's like, you're a nutcase, Judy. I'm like, I know, but I need you to do it for me. So then he'll go, oh, Judy, thank you so much. Let me go out in the front yard and do it. And then we start laughing because, like, that's the reaction I want him to do, because that's the reaction I do, because that's how I accept love, is through gifts. And his is not gifts. Like, I mean, he's thankful, don't get me wrong. Like, he's very grateful that I went out and bought him something, but he's just like, you shouldn't have done that. But I did, and I want you to be excited. Okay, well, my excitement's not like yours. And so, like, you have to understand that, because what we do is we give our love the way we want it received. You see what I'm saying? And you have to understand your spouse's love language, because it's not like ours. You know, he's not going to do back handsprings when I so if y'all drive by my house and Shane's doing back handsprings in the front yard, just know that I forced him to do that because I gave him a gift. But we laugh about it because, you know, that's how I receive it. And his is more of, he wants to feel appreciated. And most men do. Most men want to know, you know, Shane, you work 7 days a week to provide for us. Thank you. You know, thank you. Thank you. We have what we have because you bust your butt every single day. Thank you. That's how he receives I love you. Like, I could have bought him a $15,000 gun, and he's going to no, he would like the gun better. I'm sorry. I need to use another scenario. Like, I could have, I don't know, did something for him like that, but he receives love by appreciation. Now, another thing is, like, when I make dinner, he feels loved. When I wash his clothes and fold them and put them up, he feels, my wife loves me so much. You know, my wife gets up with me every morning at 5:30, 5:45 in the morning to make my lunch. My wife absolutely loves me. And I'm over here going, I flipping hate life getting up at 5:45 fixing his lunch. I hate my wife. But that's how he receives the love. So as the holiday seasons come up, we have to take care of ourselves, and we have to figure out, what are you going to do to take care of yourself? And, you know, when I tell you to get the choice to sit it out or dance, I want you to know, you know, I talk about what that means. Yes, it does mean physically dance, because I want you to dance, because dancing makes you smile. It makes you feel good. You know, it gets your heart rate up. It helps you physically and mentally. It's like a double dose of mental health remedy. But, you know, I'm just going to give you some ideas, because sometimes, you know, people go, well, I can't do that because I can't afford it. But there's things that you can do that you can't afford, that has nothing to do with money. And I say this all the time. I talk about, you know, going to feed the ducks at your local lake. You know, you'll be surprised of what it'll make you feel like to go, don't grab bread, go spend $5 or $10 on a bag of feed and go feed the ducks the entire week of Christmas because no one's at the park feeding the ducks. It's cold. It's cold outside. People are celebrating the holiday and the ducks are forgotten about. And you would be surprised that if you go take a bucket of feed every single day to a local park, because the ducks do not get fed, right? They do not get fed. They're dropped off. Their owners have surrendered them to a death sentence being out at a local lake. And no one goes to feed the ducks because it's cold outside and it's the holidays. So like just taking $15, a 50-pound bag of feed at your local co-op. You don't have to buy the name brand. 50-pound bag of feed is roughly $13, $15 a bag. And so, hey, Shane, I'm live. Anything you want to say to the audience? Hang on, I'm going to put you on speakerphone. I'm talking smack about you.
You talking smack about me? You always talking smack about me.
You better straighten up. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I hear you.
I got 100 people on my side.
I hear you. I bet you there's 150 on my side probably telling stories.
Probably. Okay, I'll call you back after I get done live.
Okay. Bye.
So funny. But you would be surprised spending $15 and going, okay, what am I going to do to take care of myself for this holidays? Okay, so I'm going to go buy a bag of feed, and every day Christmas week, I'm going to go give the ducks food every day. You're making those ducks life. You're giving them longevity because, in the winter months, they don't get fed and they're going to die. Like they're going to die if they don't get fed. So that's just one little small thing that you can do. And so often when we think about giving back or we think about dancing and making a difference in someone's life, we automatically assume a human. That's what we assume. Like we think, okay, well, let me pay for it in the drive-through, or let me go visit the nursing home, but a lot of times when you're in left field, you don't want to deal with people, right? You don't want to deal with people because you don't want to hear what they have to say or whatever. You don't want to hear their opinions. Try doing an animal. Try feeding an animal. Try, okay, like for example, my farm, my petting zoo is open year round. Okay, what happens, like I just said, holidays come, it's cold outside, people don't want to get outside, but guess what? The animals still need love. The animals still need to be fed, and the animals still need to be cared about. So one holiday, it was a couple of years ago, and it was before I really talked about, me being in left field at Christmas. This lady messaged me. And she messaged me on Christmas Eve. And she said, I'm going to start crying. Okay, I'm going to try not to cry. She said, hey, my husband is a nurse and he works Christmas Day. And we had to celebrate Christmas early so he could celebrate it with the kids. And I'm trying to find something to do on Christmas morning with my kids. Is your farm open? And I was sitting here by myself, feeling sorry for myself. And her message just flew all over me because I thought, I'm not the only one. And so I said, yes, I'm open Christmas Day. And her kids came and spent Christmas with me that day. We were out there with the animals, and it made my day. It it literally I I felt so blessed that year because in the next year I decided to open Christmas because of that situation of people that don't have family, maybe their family's out of town or maybe their family's passed away. I wanted to give them a safe place to come with their kids. So you know what we did? That's the one of the first years that when I found out she was doing that, I went and got like stuff to decorate or to dress up my animals. So me and the kids dressed up the animals for Christmas, and we took pictures with the animals Christmas and sent them to their father at work. But that's you see how something it didn't even cost money. Like it didn't cost money for me to do that. You know what I mean? But I was able to bless their family. And by blessing their family, going, I could have said, no, it's Christmas, I'm closed. But I said, yes, I'm open. And by me blessing their family in return, I got blessed. And so, see how you can use the holidays. And if you say, I don't have money you know, how you do the angel tree and support a family that's in need. There's so many things that you can do that doesn't even involve money. Feeding feeding at $15 to feed an animal. If you don't have $15 to feed the ducks, you can private message me. You can private message me and it will be just between me and you, and I will bless you to go feed the ducks. I will bless you to go feed the ducks because it's important. And so that's just an example of things that you can do to take care of yourself and when I tell you to get the choice to sit it out or dance, you can choose to sit home for the holidays and feel sorry for yourself because your family's your family's train wreck, or you can sit and feel sorry for yourself because of the crap that's happened in your past, and you can be stuck in the past, or you can be in the present and what's happening today. What, instead of being stuck in, oh God, my kids have never opened Santa Claus in front of me, blah, blah, blah. You can get stuck in that, right? But when you are able to separate yourself from that negative talk that you talk to yourself and go, okay, well, what can I do this time? What can I do to take care of myself? And I do want to say this because I know it might seem confusing that Shane is not always home during the holidays, and I want to explain. When you have when you're a welder, and you own your own construction business, this is what happens. Plants like Tyson, Wayne's Farm, all these big plants that run by, a refrigerated system. Okay. The only time they can shut down is during the holidays because they have to constantly produce, chicken or whatever. And so when something needs to be repaired, they usually choose a holiday because people are off work and the plant shut down. So that's the only time they can bring the animals, the machines or whatever you call it, the plant down for repair. So most of the time during holiday seasons, that's Shane's busiest time to work because that's the only time these companies can get repairs done. And so they begin to do routine maintenance during the holiday seasons because plants are shut down for the holidays. So know that. And then Shane, God love his soul. God love that man. I've never in my life seen a man work as harder than Shane. Shane works basically 7 days a week to provide for us. I can promise you that we have what we have, not because we've inherited it or we hit the lottery or anything like that. We have everything that we have simply because my husband works his butt off. Hang on. Um, sorry. Um, so he works 7 days a week almost all the time. And there's times when he works 7 days a week and then works 12, 15-hour days. And then he has to travel all the way, let's just say, to Kingdom Come to do a repair. And he works 2 jobs. He works for the state of Alabama, and he also has a construction business on the side. So he works hard. The only downtime that Shane has, because Shane gets up every morning at 5:30, whether he has to work or not. Like, he drives me crazy because at 5:30 on a Saturday when we have nothing to do, he is up getting dressed with his shoes and clothes on at 5:30 in the morning. I'm like, lay down. I'm about to hit you in the head with a hammer. Like, because I'm not like that. So, hunting has been, how I talked about the importance of my mother and Christmas. Hunting for him was always a family tradition with his father. Shane, from a little bitty boy, used to go hunting with his dad every single holiday. That's just like Christmas. That's what they did. They got up and they went hunting. And Shane, literally, that is the only time he can sit still and think, is when he's in a tree stand. Like, he comes back from hunting a changed man. He's so much nicer. I always go hunting, come back a changed man because you've been a butthole lately. Like, so hunting is important. He spends a lot of money. We have a hunting camp, and he spends a lot of money and invests in hunting. So a lot of times during the holidays, if he's not working, then he usually takes time to go hunt. So it's important to him. That's something that, there's going to be a day that him and his dad can't hunt anymore. And that's just very special to him, to still have his father around that can still get in a tree stand, So, like, I honor that, and I try to not let stuff like that bother me, because I know what it's like not to have your parent. And so I know that this is a family tradition that him and his dad has done since he was a little bitty kid, is go hunting during the holidays. And so I don't want you to go, you mean Shane lives like she's alone at Christmas? Like, whatever. I don't have to be alone at Christmas. I could literally hire someone to do my farm and I could go with them. But I do have a stepdad that doesn't really have family. So I do spend it with him. So when I say I'm alone, I'm not alone. I feel alone. You know how, like, when you've lost your parents, it's a sense of loss. It's a loss that you can never get back. Like, you feel lost. When your parents are no longer here, you just feel lost at the holidays because things are not like mama used to do them. Nobody cooks like your grandmother. Nobody, like, everything tastes different. Like, it's not the same. And so, like I said, a lot of people during the holidays get in left field because they reminisce about what it was like when they were a kid, because it was so special, because families came together during holidays, and it was a special time. And every year we went, because my mom was a single mom. Every Christmas Eve we went to my grandparents because my mom was by herself. And so that was like our family tradition, is every year we went to my grandparents. Have I said anything that's worth anything, or am I just rambling? Like, am I just throwing up at the mouth, or does anything make sense? At the end of the day, I want you to start thinking about how to take care of yourself during the holidays. And I want you to think about how to dance and how to make a difference in some simple way. And it doesn't have to be a human being. It can be an animal. and maybe you sponsor an animal at a sanctuary. Um, go visit. I don't know. Go to a local shelter. Go say, can I help y'all walk the dogs today? They'd love it. I promise you that. They love it because there's a lot of dogs in the shelter. Go rescue. Go adopt a dog, at a local rescue. There's so much you can do. All right, let me put my Meemaw glasses on and read my comments and see what y'all are saying to me. Um, I make perfect sense. Thank you, Tracy. Jonathan, I freaking love you. I so want to hang out with you. Oh, I hit the wrong button. I'm glad that I make sense because, at the end of the day, all we have is each other, right? And it seems a foreign language to connect to somebody that you don't know, you've never met in person, and to feel close to someone that lives thousands of miles away and so forth. But I want you to know that I am here for you. And if anybody understands, being in left field during the holidays, it's me. And I want you to know that you're not alone. And know that when you sit at home and sulk, it does you nothing. It does no good. You're not dancing. You're sitting it out. It does no good at all. All it does is cause you anxiety. It causes you stress. It causes you to be depressed. And it's terrible. Get out. Get out. Go dance. All right, guys. Guess what? I got to go do animals. And yesterday, I looked at the weather and I was like, oh, good, it's not going to rain. At like 12 o'clock, it came a pour down yesterday. It was like pouring. And today, I just got an alert that it's going to be another one of those days. And I'm like, really? But the radar doesn't show any rain. I'm like, this Alabama weather is killing me. So this morning, I'm going to get blessed because I have a group home that comes every Wednesday to volunteer at my farm. And so they're coming today, and it's always a joy to watch them. They've been with me probably 2 years. They come every single Wednesday for 2 years. And it's such a blessing to watch them. They've learned how to clean my brooder. They've learned how to clean my chicken boxes. They've learned how to hold the rabbits because, I tell them all the time, they're like, all we need to do is hold the rabbits. I'm like, the rabbits need to be out of the cages. The rabbits need to be held. The rabbits need to be loved. I need y'all to interact with my rabbits. And it's so important. Jonathan, I know I sound like a dumb butt, but I can't tell her nipples are bigger, but like, I'm used to goats and cows and stuff like that. And they have a milk sac, right? Like, so it's very obvious when their milk sac's about to daggum bust, they're fixing to go into labor. Like, that's what I see. But like with Shishi, it is hanging down, but I don't know really what I'm looking for. Like, I have looked at pictures and you can see like milk sacs, like individual milk sacs. And she does not have that, but I did try to express to see if there was any milk, and there's not. But that's been about a week ago. So I don't know how close we are. Dr. Harney said, you're probably just going to come out there one day and there's going to be piglets. And I'm like, I will literally have a heart attack. If I walk out here and there's piglets. But on y'all's guesses on Facebook, people are saying like 30. Listen, if she has 30 piglets, I'm coming after y'all. We're going to break up and not be friends anymore if she has 30. Because what the heck am I going to do with 30 piglets? Just saying. So please don't wish that upon her because I would be in so much trouble. All right. Again, you have two choices in life. You can sit it out and feel sorry for yourself and be depressed and go, this life is just awful. You know how we do. I do it all the time. Or you can go, you know what? It's not about me today. It's about making a difference in someone else's life today, whether it's a human being or an animal. And there are plenty of farms that can use you to come love on their animals. I promise you. So if you don't know a local farm in your area, I highly suggest you get to know small farms in your area, because those farms need you. Those farms need people to come hold their rabbits or interact with their animals, or they need help feeding or whatever, and volunteering can make a huge difference in a farmer's life. So I just highly recommend, if there's a rescue close by, they can use help. If you can't help them physically, if you can help them financially, there's farms that need it. There's farms that need help, and farms work very hard to make ends meet. So I ask you to reach out to a local farmer in your area and try to make a difference. Okay, I hope you danced today, and I hope that you have a great day. And I've got to sit here and try to find my mouse. The mouse is like this big. I've got to change it. All right. I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me this afternoon or this morning. I'll see you.